Ask him.
You can ask too.
No, but I'm behind the fucking camera here.
Exactly, filming you. Go on, man, ask him some questions.
Stop it and start recording it because it's easy to put two clips together.
If we can kind of introduce what your background is, where you're going.
Yep.
Give you some exposure to what you're doing as well.
Yep. So I give you. So my name's Gareth. I'm a previously a sales coach, but effectively a trainer. So have 10 years in training, history in customer service, retail sales, and direct sales. So yeah.
And then I never thought, for the sake of this, from that clip from Shameless, it might be good to go through maybe some quick pearls as to what you need to do when you're going through cold calls, what maybe differentiates the good guys from the bad.
Yep.
How to get those guys on board.
So introduce Shameless though, introduce the clip.
Yeah, so Shameless, from that clip, it's it's got Fiona, and she's got this new sales role, and she goes to the desk, and the advisor is pretty much saying you only have to follow this script. So if they say this, you need to say this. If they say this objection, you need to say this. And she goes off script on the first time, and she schedules the guy who wasn't supposed to be scheduled, but she schedules him anyway. And then the lady comes back and says, no, you can't do that. You need to follow this script. And so I thought, it'd be a good thing to present because it's going through, how it's actually important to have a script, but then it's good to go off that script as well. It's good to have like a basis of understanding where you want to go, but if you're too structured, it's almost like you can't. It's fake.
Yeah, definitely. I think that fundamentally, like you said, it's great to have a script because you want to have an understanding about what sort of conversations you're going to have with a client, a fundamental basis about how that conversation will go. And one of my old colleagues used to say, a sales call is an educated conversation you know the outcome to. So having an understanding of that's important, but first and foremost, you've got to understand that people are different, and so they're never always going to fall into that bucket. They're going to throw you different objections. Right from the get-go, after 5 minutes, they might say, you need to piss off in 2 months. You need to be able to adapt to that very quickly. And a big part of that is understanding people's body language, taking those cues from them, and having those fallbacks, understanding, where that conversation can go from there.
So, for example, when you were training people on how to make cold calls, what would be the best way for them to start a call initially?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was the question. There we go. Okay, cool.
Oh, you want to start again?
No, go, man. This is exactly how we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So when I used to, more on the face-to-face side, so it used to be like, from the moment you walk in the door, or the moment you call up, you've got salesperson written across your forehead, right? They know you're a salesperson, so trying to bullshit and manipulate around that is worthless. You've got to sort of hit the nail on the head. So it used to always be, introduce yourself, where you're from and why you're there, but right off the front of that, right off the back of that, before they have a chance to say to you to cut out or hang up when you ask them a question, a soft sort of open question, how's your day been? And then always have a secondary, because if you say, how's your day been, they say good, and you go, well, I want to sell you something, it's really disingenuous. So, how's your day been? Great. What's been going on with you, whatever the case is. So begin to build that rapport early and quickly, but obviously taking cues from their body language. If you walk into a store to a sales call and they are uptight and they look agitated, then there's absolutely no sense spending too much time to try to dig your nails in. Take that cue and schedule a time to come back. Same as you do a call over the phone and you hear someone and they sound agitated, there's kids crying in the background and a dog barking. If you begin to try to execute your sales call according to a script, all you're going to do is piss them off and negatively impact any possible rapport you can have, because you're showing a complete lack of empathy for their situation.
Alright, okay, that was good. So can you talk to us then about how you use intonation and your body language, even though you're making a phone call? You mentioned when we were talking previously off camera that there were some things that you do and that you train other people to do to make sure that their presence over the phone is being communicated. So even though someone can't see their body language, it still has an impact on the way that the phone call might take place. So can you talk to us a bit about intonation and body language and that sort of stuff?
Sure. Well, before the call, you want to do a couple of things. I know it sounds really simple, but properly breathing, water, all those sort of things to make sure your voice doesn't, those testy pops that we had back in high school are going to affect you negatively on sales calls as well, right? Possibly not so much for the female sales consultant, but for the men, it's going to disrupt.
Some of them maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. So making sure that from a physical point you're upright, you sound good, you've got that.
Girls do mind testy pops because it means you got balls.
But,
probably small ones, but
You obviously want to, when it comes to tonation, similar to matching body language when you're in a face-to-face call, match their tempo, match their tonation. When you use an upwards inflection, that's always a question. So, you know, even if you're asking a statement, if you use an upwards inflection at the end, it indicates that you want the other person to talk. Dropping your voice a bit, adding a little bit of bass is a very authoritative thing. So if you're bringing in a call to action, or you're trying to ask them that you want to meet up with them, drop it a little bit. I'm not talking about going from Mickey Mouse to bloody James Earl Jones, right? You know, you don't want to make that seems patronising, but definitely make sure you're aware of your tonation, your pitch, and your speed of your voice.
Yeah. And can you talk to us? A bit about your thoughts on silence in a phone call? So if you ask a question, or if you say, for example, as I do on my phone calls, I just try and make people feel as if they've met me before, and there's often a silence, that moment of recognition. I know a lot of people jump the gun and they don't wait for that silence to finish. What are your thoughts on silence in phone calls?
People are terrified of silence, you know, and we always are, because we feel that when we're silent, it means that we don't have anything educated to say, and so we automatically jump the gun and say something that we either progress the call too quickly, or we end up saying something stupid. So it's important to harness silences when you can, and so by giving that silence, you're giving your audience, your call, an opportunity to think as well, which is important. If you keep on firing questions and comments at them, they're not going to have proper time to comprehend what you're saying. And when you say, can we make that sale, or can we meet up? Well, of course they're going to say, no, give me more time to think. So give a little bit of silence, don't be afraid of that. It can be a very powerful weapon as well, because if you ask a question and you stay silent for long enough, even after they've given you a bit of an answer, a little bit more silence might allow that person your customer to even go a little bit more in depth and give a little bit more information they weren't expecting based on that original answer. So silence is a powerful one used correctly.
Alright, man. So thanks heaps for giving us some of your nuggets of knowledge.
No worries.
Gareth is the consummate professional. Gareth, can you please agree on camera that you're going to come back and provide more content for us in this channel?
Most definitely. I'd love to be the Yoda sort of person for this, mate.
He's going to be Gareth is sales Yoda.
Sales Yoda 101.
Yeah, just shake my head, yeah.
That's exactly where I was at. Hey guys, so that was a good meeting with Gareth. I thought what I got out of that was, I think that pause is really important. So once you opened up the call and you've asked them that really engaging question, make sure you pause so that the other person can really consolidate what you've said, and then think about what they want to say back to you, so you can have a more tailored conversation. What did you get out of that, man?
Yeah, I think some of the things that Gareth said that really interested me, especially with my industry, is like having a focused conversation is definitely important, and having a script is definitely one way to have that focused conversation, but not to be so rigid. Sort of like what the Shameless clip showed as well. Like that rigidity removes being genuine, and if you've got a goal, like if your phone call is about making an actual sale, and then obviously you need to meet that goal. But if your phone call is about getting in front of someone, then pre-qualifying them over the phone and asking them a series of personal questions and expecting a response back when they have no idea who you are, it's kind of unfair in a way. And so I think what Gareth said is really important, that know what your goal is, but get to that goal with a sort of humanistic approach. Don't force it, and definitely don't be a machine. There's no reason for that. I don't think you won't really get any real value out of that, and you'll probably have a much lower conversion rate than if you approach it as a sort of genuine proposition.
And yeah, actually on that as well, just make sure you've got that script, but don't be rigid, be versatile. So if they say one thing and they throw you off, you don't want to be thrown off. You want to have an answer towards everything. So really actively listen to what they're saying. That way, so you can actually tailor the conversations towards what their needs are on their agenda, rather than yourself. I think that's the important things from what Gareth says. So
how we're presenting these videos, they are separated, but in your everyday in your everyday approach to sales, you need to integrate these sorts of things. Like what we're talking about are basically the different components that make up the day of sales. So our cold calling is going to be a section of your day, working on your pipeline is going to be a section of your day. Obviously everyone's got a bit of paperwork that they need to fill out, and you've got to set time aside for that too. But just remember, keep your eyes on the end goal, and that is to generate a business that will eventually get to a size where it just not cannibalize itself, but rather generates its own leads, and where you can sort of step back a little bit. So guys,
continue to bring these videos to you where we bring in other sources of professional and successful people at that top 5%, so they can really translate what they what they do differently in their fields, so we can share that common knowledge as well.
Subscribe to us, start posting some things in the comments. We're more than happy. Yeah, comment, like that shit.
Like that shit.
Like that shit. So we're, as I said, we're more than happy to allow our viewers moving forward to use this channel as a forum, so that we can all learn and grow together in this business, in this industry.
Alright guys, well until the next video, stay hungry, stay genuine with your customers, and we'll speak to you soon.